Hi guys, welcome or welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing the mid-year book tag. So we're going to be talking about all of the books that I have read this year and my favorites and just all of the good things. I have my list of prompts right here. So first I'm just going to talk about my stats for a second. So let me pull up my Goodreads and we will go from there. How many books I've read so far this year? I have read 59 books. And my goal was 50 books for the year. So safe to say I'm going to be finishing my goal because I'm only one book away. I have had 6 5-star reads so far this year. Let me tell you what my 5-star reads were, all 6 of them. I'll start with my first 5-star read of the year and go to my most recent 5-star read. So my first 5-star read was actually The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. And then it was Heir of Fire from Throne of Glass, Queen of Shadows from Throne of Glass, and then it was Powerless by Lauren Roberts was my 4th 5-star read. My 5th 5-star read was Empire of Storms, and then my 6th was Kingdom of Ash. So 4 of the 6 5-star reads were all Throne of Glass books. So safe to say I love that series. But let's get into some of the questions. The first one was best book so far of the year, and I am going to have to say Kingdom of Ash. I freaking loved this book so much. I could not put it down from the beginning. If you've read Sarah J Maas or Moss, however you pronounce her last name, I hear it both ways. If you've ever read any of her books, you know that the last like 100 to 150 pages of her books are so intense you cannot put the book down. That was this entire book. From the first page to the last page, I could not put this down. It is the biggest book I've ever read at a whopping 980 pages, and I read it within like a week, I think. So I could not put this one down. I loved it. Some of these prompts are probably going to be repeated books. I'm gonna try to not do it too much, but for some of them I'm gonna have to. So we shall see. The next book is the best sequel, and I would have done Kingdom of Ash, but I didn't want to repeat, so I did my next favorite book in the Throne of Glass series, which was Empire of Storm. I loved this one as well. Yeah, I'm like, there's not really much else to say because I can't give anything away about the book because it's the 6th book in the series of 8, and I don't want to give any spoilers, so can't say much, but I loved this one. A new release you haven't read yet but you want to. I have 2 for this one. I actually don't own any of them. I literally just bought one of them though because I did my TBR jar for July to build my July TBR, and one of the prompts I got was buy a new book. So I bought one of these 2, but the 2 that I want to read but haven't yet are Funny Story and Just for the Summer. And the one that I bought was Just for the Summer specifically because for Funny Story, all of the other Emily Henry books are all going to be paperback. And if every single book from an author that I own is paperback, all of them need to be paperback. I cannot do all paperback, one hardback. Those are the 2 new releases that I haven't read yet, but I want to. This prompt is the most anticipated release for the second half of the year. I have 2 books for this one as well. I have Reckless by Lauren Roberts, the 2nd in the Powerless series. Like I said earlier, gave Powerless 5 stars. I also loved Powerful, so I am super excited. Have it pre-ordered. Cannot wait. Comes out next week. And then the second one is a novel love story. That one also sounds so fun. The biggest surprise of this year, I don't own the physical copy of this. I bought it on my Kindle, but it was Welcome to the Fae Cafe. I loved that book. It was so cute and cozy and fun. I bought the second one immediately after reading the first one, but I'm waiting to read it until the fall time because it just seems like the perfect fall read. Fave new author. I am going to have to say this could be either new in general or new to you. I'm saying new to me, and that is going to be Catherine Center. I don't have any of her books because I listened to The Bodyguard on my Libby app, but I really enjoyed it and I'm super excited to read all of her other books. Newest fictional crush, probably Rowan from Throne of Glass, or I like so many Throne of Glass characters. Rowan, Lorcan, Dorian, there's so many good ones from Throne of Glass. So, probably those three. A book that made you cry. This is when I'm going to repeat myself because if you know, you know. I cried the hardest I have ever cried reading a book with this book. If you know, you know what scene I'm talking about. A book that made you happy. I am going to give it to Powerless by Lauren Roberts. I was laughy giddy literally the entire time reading this. I listened to it on Libby first. I didn't read it. And while I was reading it, I immediately bought the book while I was in the middle of it because I knew I wanted it on my shelf because it was going to be a 5-star favorite of mine. I was laughing giddy the entire time I read this book. Highly recommend if you haven't read it yet. Beautiful book you've either been bought or been gifted. I have 2 of those right here. I have the Wren in the Holly Library and 5 Broken Blades. Let me show you why they're so beautiful. Okay, first I'll start with 5 Broken Blades. Look at those sprayed edges. Gorgeous. Not only that, look at the inside. It is gorgeous, and the book itself, so pretty. I immediately had to buy it. I haven't read it yet, but it is freaking gorgeous. I also have not read The Wren in the Library yet, but again, look at those sprayed edges. I mean, can you not? And the inside of this one, just as stunning. Just as stunning. The book itself, freaking stunning. Stunning. So yeah, those 2 books are the prettiest books that I have gotten this year. A book that you need to read by the end of the year. I actually have 2 of those. I have quite a few books that I for sure want to read by the end of the year. To start, the whole Crescent City series. I have not read this yet. I read ACOTAR first. That was my first SJM book series, and then Throne of Glass. But I finished Throne of Glass like a month and a half, 2 months ago, and I just really needed a little bit of a break in between that hunk of a series and Crescent City. So I have not picked it up yet, but I do need to read this by the end of the year. I'm hoping by the time that I am ready to read the 3rd Crescent City book that the 3rd one is out in paperback already, because like I was saying earlier, I need them all to match. And if it's not out in paperback, I'm going to have to buy it on my Kindle to read it, to then buy the physical copy. And then also Divine Rivals and Ruthless Vows. I have not read this yet. I need to read this by the end of the year too. 5-star predictions for the rest of the year. Repeating myself again, Crescent City. I'm actually a little scared to go into it because I've heard mixed reviews. ACOTAR and Throne of Glass, both 5-star series, easily. Throne of Glass, 6-star series, actually. And I've heard Crescent City is not everyone's cup of tea. Some people love it, some people hate it. So I'm a little scared, but that's okay. That is okay. And then another 5-star prediction I have is Funny Story. I know I'm gonna love it. Emily Henry, I love her. Given 5 stars to a lot of her books. A series you want to finish this year. I just read Dance of Thieves this past like a week or 2 ago. So I definitely want to read Vow of Thieves to complete this little trilogy. And then I am also reading the Mortal Instrument books. I'm listening to them on Libby, and then I'm like slowly collecting them when I see them at like thrift stores. But I haven't finished it, but I think I'm only like a couple books away from finishing. So I'm gonna try to finish this one as well. A book you want to reread. I actually already started rereading this, but it is The Secret Life of Bees by Sue Monk Kidd. I loved this book. It was my favorite book for a very long time when I was younger, like in high school. So I wanted to reread it to see if it still holds up to that same level of love that I had for it back then. So I'm listening to it because the book is it's an old book and some of the pages are kind of fallen out and I don't want to ruin it. It is signed to me. I met the author. I also wouldn't mind rereading Daisy Jones and the Six because I freaking love that book. And the audiobook for it is so good that I would want to listen to the audio again. So that might be another one that I reread this year. Fave author so far this year. I'm specifically going by most books read by these authors, which would be Sarah J Maas, obviously. I read most of the Throne of Glass series this year. I started it at the end of last year. I've also read a lot of Cassandra Clare because I'm listening to the Mortal Instrument series, so she probably would be another fave author of the year because I have read quite a few of her books. She's not my favorite author overall. That would probably have to go to either Sarah J Maas, Taylor Jenkins Reid, or Emily Henry, or the 3 of them combined. But based off of most books read this year, it would be those 2 authors. The last prompt that I have is a book you're putting off reading. I have 2. The first one, repeating for the 3rd time, Crescent City. I'm just scared that I'm not gonna like it nearly as much as the other 2. So that is why I've been putting this one off. And then the second one that I'm putting off, I don't own. It's a second Red Rising book. I read the first one while I listened to the first one and I wasn't the biggest fan. It wasn't a bad book, but it wasn't like amazing. So I'm not sure if I want to continue the series. I know everyone raves about it and loves that series. So it makes me want to push through and try to read it, but I'm just like scared because I did not like the first one all that much. And I tried listening to the second one a little while ago and just like stopped listening to it within the first like chapter because it just was like not in the mood to. So we'll see. Those are the 2 books that I'm like really putting off, but yeah, we'll see. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. I have been loving watching all of these, and let me know, answer some of the prompts in the comments below. Let me know some of your favorites from this year, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys. Anyway, this chair is loud. Luna.